Hi folks, it's Cheyenne again. Nice to see you. So as promised in the last video, today I'm going to be talking about tarot and oracle cards. Now a lot of you are probably wondering what's the difference between tarot and oracle cards. Mine are all strewn about here. Basically, the difference between the two is the actual format and setup of the cards. Tarot cards are typically 78 cards, a deck of 78 cards that are loosely based on a system of cards that was invented centuries ago. Tarot cards have been around for centuries, and there is the minor arcana and the major arcana. The minor arcana are set up like the suits in a deck of cards. There are usually pentacles, swords, ooh, I had a little brain stumper there, wands, and chalices. Those four are set up like different suits of cards. You know, there's an ace going all the way up to a king. And they can vary by deck. Some decks that are more feminine won't even have kings. They'll have, you know, queens, ladies, princesses, duchesses. They'll have more feminine ones. Male ones will do the same. Instead of having all female face cards, you know, face cards, it'll have something, you know, lord, prince, king. They can vary by deck in various different styles. In case somebody is wondering, my cat is off to the side here. He might kind of wander into frame a few times. Don't mind him. He's just a little bit curious. So tonight I'm going to start out by showing you my kind of, it's not as big as some people have huge collections of tarot cards. I've got about 6 decks here. That's not too big, but for me, I took on oracle cards much more naturally. I seem to work better with them. Oracle cards are used to answer questions. In my opinion, that's how I do my readings. I use tarot to deal with specific situations, larger time spans. I would use a tarot deck to say, how will the next 6 months of my life be? I would use a tarot deck to kind of figure that out. Tarot decks have more loose, more vague meanings behind them. The cards are vague so that the reader can use their own intuition and own psychic abilities to interpret them and see whatever it is they see and feel what they feel. Whereas oracle cards have exact affirmations, they'll have positive prayers, positive sayings on them. I sort of like oracle cards just because I have never, there was one incident where I did find a deck that was kind of negative, but typically they have all positive affirmations. There's nothing that can confuse anybody. You know, with tarot, if somebody gets the death card, right away they start panicking, oh my god, I'm going to die, I'm going to die. They don't know that the death card signifies transformation, change, things of that nature. They don't really take that into consideration. They just see death. So that's sort of why I prefer working with oracle cards, because it's very straight and to the point. There's no confusion. If a card says, if a card says blessings from heaven, then that's what it means. There is no death, no swords stabbing people, nothing too negative like that in any decks that I use, so that's kind of why I prefer to use oracle. To start out talking about my tarot deck, I have here a deck. It is called the Gothic Tarot of Vampires. This deck is by Riccardo Minetti and Emiliana Mamukari. I have no idea if I pronounced that correctly, but this deck is a Lo Scarabeo, I believe that's how it's pronounced, deck. It is a company that does tarot decks, does oracle decks, does incense, they do books. It's based out of Italy, so some of the names of the people who do these decks are going to be a little bit hard for me to say throughout the evening. But this deck is just a really, really fun deck. I love this deck. It's not too, I like it because it's not too gory. I've seen some tarot decks that are, you know, severed heads and all kinds of gross creepiness, but this deck manages to keep the more romantic, very Anne Rice feel to vampires. You know, they're beautiful, they're seductive, but at the same time, they can turn on you and just suck you dry and leave you there. And I think this deck is very beautiful, very artistically done. This is one of the only tarot decks I have that I can use to ask just about any question with. I've noticed that a lot of my tarot decks, their energy for me is very specific to a specific line of questioning. This one I can ask about anything love, life. I can ask about certain situations with friends, with family, jobs, next, so-and-so weeks, months of my life. And this deck just has a lot of neat pictures. I'm not sure how well you can see those, but the pictures are very artfully done. They're kind of darker images. I'm gonna seek out a brighter colored one. It's not the prettiest one, but here's one that's a bit lighter. It might be easier to see on the camera. I'm not sure. This deck is it's really awesome, for anybody who's a fan of vampires, for anybody who enjoys that sort of darker side of life. This is a really great deck, and I give this deck a definite 10 out of 10. So, moving on here. Next we have this deck I love. This one started a bit of a landslide with me in tarot decks. I was never a very big fan of tarot decks before I got this one. It just sort of called out to me, and I had to go back and get it. I love this deck. This deck is called the Manga Tarot. It is done in the sort of comic book styling of manga artists, Japanese comic book style. And I love this deck. The pictures are they've got that very oriental flair. They're very, very detailed. The artists got every little last piece of grain in the wood on the floor. They got all of the beautiful floral patterns and prints on the kimonos. It's a very wonderful deck. For me, this deck has proven to be very, very helpful in finding things. I have used this deck when it comes to finding people, actually. I was recently contacted by a woman whose daughter had gone missing. She was scared, she was worried that the worst had happened, and I did a reading with this deck, and I got a sense of, her daughter was still alive. There was probably some, bad romance going on there, and sure enough, a couple of weeks later, the daughter got into contact with her. She was alive. There was romantic issues, and she was able to be reunited with her mother, and it was a very happy ending. I've used it before for other such things when it comes to finding people. These cards are, again, they're very brightly colored. There's this one, which is the Two of Wands. I love this card. When I first got this deck, it immediately drew me to this deck. I actually have the Two of Wands tattooed on my arm here. You probably can't see it very well, but it's there. The meaning behind this card, it has this girl standing here in this wonderful kimono. She's holding a heart-shaped locket, and she's looking out over the ocean, and she just has this look of longing. And it's sort of like what the heart sees, what the eyes can't. And I really, really love that, and that's what drew me to this deck in the first place. And now I've got it on me forever. There's just such brilliant colors in regards to this deck. Judgment, this is the Judgment card. There's this awesome female samurai with wings, looks like she's flying up to heaven. The Prince of Chalices, we've got this kind of buff guy in a loincloth surrounded by fish and in a stream. The cards are very artfully done. And another thing about the cards is that the pictures go along very well with the general meaning of cards. Most tarot decks have a very general meaning. All tarot typically has like a general meaning. You know, the Ace of Pentacles is a Pentacle suite is a signification of prosperity, jobs, wealth. You know, this one just does a really good job at depicting certain things, and I really, really love this deck. I'd give this one about a 15 out of a 10, so I love it. It's a great deck. And this one is also a Riccardo Minetti deck. This one is by Riccardo Minetti and Anna Lazzarini. Again, me and these names tonight, we're going to be going crazy trying to figure out how to pronounce these names. So, next I have a wonderful deck. This deck I don't use very often for actual reading purposes, but I think it is a wonderful tool for beginners to paganism and beginners to Wicca. I think it's a wonderful tool for Wiccan priests, high priestesses, teachers. I think it's a great tool for them to use. It is called the Universal Goddess Tarot, and it is exactly as it says. It has so many goddesses from all around the world. It includes Kali, it includes Astarte, Hecate, Isis, Lilith. It goes over so much mythology, so many deities, from Chinese to Japanese, Italian, Greek, Roman, Egyptian. It goes everywhere, and Native American gods and goddesses, or goddesses, it's all goddesses in this deck, but Native American goddesses, spirit guides, sprites, all sorts of wonderful, wonderful pictures. And they're a very good tool. I've never really used these for reading purposes, but I have used them as a tool for teaching. I have used them to show to students, to have them look through. Even for me, it was kind of fun when I first got the deck to go through, to look at the card and think, which goddess is this? Well, you know, let's see, she's got the grains, she's got the sickle. This is probably Demeter from Roman mythology. Look it up in the book, it is Demeter. You know, different things. This is Rhiannon. This here, oh, I know this one. This one's, it's a woman with a shield and a sword. It's probably Minerva. It was Minerva. Some of them, they trick you too. Some of them you think you know who it is and it's not them. But this deck is absolutely beautiful. It's a wonderful tool to have to teach. Any Dianic Wiccan should probably own this deck. Anyone who is very strongly connected to the goddess, feminine energies, this is a great deck for them. This one is the Magician card. This is the Demeter card. I'm trying to pick out ones that I actually know who they are. The Death card, they chose Kali from Hinduism. It's a very beautiful deck. Again, I use it as more of a tool than anything. I don't really do any type of readings with them. I use them as a teaching tool. Here is the High Priestess card, and it is Isis. And that is just absolutely beautiful. If ever I were to picture the goddess Isis, it would be this beautiful, tanned woman draped in gold and silk. It's just a wonderful deck. It really, really is inspiring for women. I love it and I recommend it. I'd give this one probably like an 8 or 9 out of 10 when it comes to readings. I have done several readings with the deck just to kind of feel my way through it, get the energy, get the vibe from it. And I'd give it probably like an 8 or 9 out of 10. And this deck is by Antoletta Platano and Maria Carati, something to that effect, I'm not too sure. Okay, so next I have here my Halloween tarot deck. This one is by Kipling West. I knew that one right off the bat, as funny as the name it is, the easiest one to pronounce out of everybody. This deck is very, very fun. I would recommend this deck for someone who is trying to introduce their children to tarot, someone who's trying to introduce their kids to their own psychic abilities. It's very, very fun for kids to look through, very fun for kids to use. It has all of these pictures that are based on Halloween. And even just the setup of the deck, instead of using the typical names for the suites, they have imps instead of wands, bats instead of swords, pumpkins instead of pentacles, and ghosts instead of chalices. It's a really, really fun deck, and it's something that I think is a great learning tool for children, because children can really look at these pictures, and knowing what they know already about monsters and Halloween and ghouls, they can kind of get from that a sense of what the cards' meanings are. The High Priestess here, it's sort of a vampira, Bride of Dracula type deal. A child could easily look at this card and just think, the High Priestess card in general usually means feminine beauty, feminine power, very motherly. A child could look at this card and see, wow, that's Dracula's wife. So obviously, it signifies a pretty woman. It signifies a woman of power and magic, and that's exactly what it represents. The Queen of Imps, we have the Queen of Imps here, the Three of Pumpkins, and another fun part of the deck is the little black cat, which you'll find is on the back of the card, and he is in every single card. Sometimes he's well hidden, sometimes he's sort of looking off, just observing, sometimes he's in the main scene of the picture. This is just a very, very fun deck. For readings, I've used this for kind of more serious relationship questions in specific situations that are more serious, involving my jobs, personal friendships. I've used this deck for those types of readings. I think it's a very, very fun deck. It's just awesome. I love this deck. Reading-wise, the outcomes that I've gotten, I'd probably give it, again, maybe like an 8 or a 9 out of 10. I haven't fully gotten connected to this deck yet, so my readings aren't quite where I'd like them to be when it comes to using this deck. But it's still a really fun deck. I recommend it for parents to get for their kids, to try and help them to learn and study and understand tarot better. Next, I have here the Universal Weight. A lot of people who know about tarot and who are involved in it know the Rider-Waite Tarot. It was almost like the rebirth of tarot. It was sort of the Raymond Buckland of tarot. It was sorry, I'm getting stumbled on my words here. It was that Renaissance type deal for tarot. It's very, very popular, very commonly, widely found, the Rider-Waite Tarot. This one is different. This is the Universal Waite Tarot. It is sort of based on the same drawings, same style as the original Rider-Waite Tarot. This one is by Mary Hanson Roberts and Pamela Coleman Smith. The pictures in this one, they're a lot softer. It has a lot softer feel, a lot softer pictures and depictions than the original Rider-Waite Tarot, but the meanings behind them are essentially the same. This deck is the only deck that I use for customers, for strangers. This is the only deck that I will use to do readings for complete strangers. This deck was given to me as a gift. It was actually found in a friend's attic, and he immediately thought of me and gave me the deck, and I appreciate it, because I have grown quite attached to this deck, and this is the only one that I will use for customers, for clients. I won't use any of my other tarot decks, even though I have a bunch of them. I still feel those are more for my personal growth, for my personal use, than this one, which I feel can be shared with others. It has very traditional style pictures. Here you have the Three of Wands. It's sort of the very old-timey feel. The men are all wearing these long robes, and women wearing the flowing dresses and the wraps, the mantles around them. The Temperance card, this angel balancing the water between the chalices. Three of Cups, celebration, three women celebrating. It is just a very kind of neat deck. It's very simple. I would recommend this for beginners to tarot. I would recommend, sorry, I'm getting stumbled up on my words again. I would recommend either the Rider-Waite, the Universal Waite, or even, I believe it's called the Brilliant Waite tarot deck. Any of the Waite tarot decks I would really, really recommend for beginners. They're very, very easy to follow. The cards are very easy to understand, very easy to follow. And it's not as confusing, as complex as some other tarot decks can get. Some of the decks, the meanings behind the cards, nearly every tarot deck you get will come with some kind of booklet to tell you this is how it goes, this card means this card means that. The cards mean whatever they feel to you, whatever you get from them, whatever impressions you have on them. That is what they mean. The booklets are just there to give you a very general, loose idea of what the card means. If you look up a card, the Hermit card, if you try to look that up in the book, it'll probably give you like 6 or 7 different meanings behind the card. And it's just very loose general terms that you can use to kind of learn and study and work your way through and get used to tarot. Alrighty. So, that there was my tarot collection. I don't believe I have any more decks. I do not. So, the next deck I'm going to show you, I'm going to start getting my oracle cards. I have 3 decks of oracle cards. They are all by the same woman. Her name is Doreen Virtue. You may have heard of her. She's very well known. She's been on a lot of talk shows. She does classes, seminars. I know she does articles for magazines, some of the women's magazines. She does little daily affirmations. She does a lot of angelic work, a lot of work with magical creatures. The deck I have here is the Magical Unicorn Oracle deck, and this was the first Oracle deck I owned. That's a little bit of a lie. The only time I've ever run into an Oracle deck that I didn't really like was the first Oracle deck I had owned. It was this small deck. I think it was about 50 plus cards. It really wasn't that big. It was the size of regular playing cards. If you go to the casino and play poker, it was the same size as those cards. And it was an angel deck. And at first, I thought it was something kind of neat. I got it when I was young and first started practicing. I thought it was something neat. I had that even before I got my first tarot deck. I had that deck of oracle cards. And the more I looked into them and did readings with them, the more I did not like them. They had way too much of a religious institution feel. There was cards like there was one card, and it was kind of the children who are not baptized will never receive the blessings of heaven. They will never go to heaven. There were ones, the angels of death are comforting and don't fear them. Some of the cards were just really freaky. They were a little bit more institutionalized, religion-based cards. A lot of them, pray to God for to be saved. Children should be blessed by God. Look to God for this. Look to God for that. I believe in God, but the cards were they had this very weird feel to them. The layout of the cards, the art on the cards wasn't very attractive, and it was just not a fun deck to work with. And the moment I could, I got rid of that deck. But then I found this one, which my aunt had actually owned a deck of these cards because she loves unicorns before I did, and I fell in love with these cards right away. These is the Magical Unicorns Tarot deck, or Oracle deck, by Doreen Virtue. The deck is wonderful. It has such beautiful pictures. It's got this wonderful gold painting on the side. This is really, really worn down. This deck I actually retired recently. This was the first deck I started working with. I have used it for many, many years now. It has seen many a reading. It has done a lot of readings. It has done a lot of good for people. And it is just an amazing deck. So, with this deck here, there are these beautiful, beautiful unicorn pictures. And this is just the back of the card, but every card has something absolutely beautiful, has something absolutely wonderful on it. The pictures are just so brightly colored. They're really, really fun to look at. Every card has a unicorn. Some of them feature other animals, cats, dogs. And these cards all have very positive affirmations. This one, simplicity. Put your energy into the basics and let go of excess. Pardon me for a moment. Okay, I am back. I'm sorry about that. Sorry I had to kind of wander off there for you. So, I was talking about these wonderful unicorn cards. This was the first deck I got. I've done a lot of readings with these. They've all worked out very, very well. The pictures on them are absolutely wonderful. If you're a fan of unicorns, I totally recommend this deck. As you can see, oracle cards are a bit bigger. They're kind of shorter than tarot cards, but they're thicker, they're wider. They usually come in different odd counts for the numbers. I believe this one is around 40 something, 45 maybe. Other decks come in 50 or more. Usually you don't find really big, thick oracle decks just because the cards are usually so much bigger. This is a great deck. I would give this deck definitely, a 10 out of 10. As you can see, I don't have very many complaints about a lot of my decks and a lot of my cards. I love them very much. They're very awesome. So next I have my other two decks, which I use regularly for readings that I do with clients. As I mentioned at the beginning, I prefer Oracle over Tarot. So next I have to kind of pry them out of this box that I have. I probably should have done this ahead of time. Okay, ta-da! So, next I have the Archangel Oracle deck, again by Doreen Virtue. All three of the Oracle decks I'm going to be showing you tonight. I got so used to saying the word tarot that's just going to be stuck in my head all night. All three of the Oracle decks I'm going to be showing you tonight are by Doreen Virtue. She does absolutely amazing decks. I love them. They call out to me. I do really, really great readings with them. I do all of my readings with these decks. So this is the Archangel Oracle deck. This one is really, really neat. It's really fun. Again, bright colors in every card. Very, very positive affirmations. And another thing I like about this deck is that it will tell you which archangel this specific message is from. The layout on this card, most oracle cards will have a general word for the main meaning behind the card, patience. And then it will have a small affirmation to go along with that. This one is patience. Archangel Jophiel, your dreams are blooming more rapidly than you realize. Still, they need nurturing and patience. That is just an awesome, awesome, awesome saying. It is just a very positive, very affirming, and the pictures on these cards, again, they're very beautiful. Here is the patience card. You have this wonderful angel in this floral print dress, dealing with flowers, watering a garden. The art on the decks are done by all different artists. Prioritize. This is the prioritized card. This one's a little bit different. This one is the Archangel Metatron. He sounds like a Decepticon, although I guarantee you that's probably not what he is. Yeah, I just got a little bit nerdy on you there for a second. There's the more popular angels that people work with, Archangel Raphael, for the Breathe card, Archangel Gabriel. Oops, I'm picking up a couple more than I should here. The pictures on these cards are just wonderful. They're really, really great. I found that the Archangel cards are something that a lot of, as strange as it sounds, I have had people who are Christian, who are Catholic, Baptist, Methodist, come to me for readings before, and when you pull out a deck like this, something that includes a familiar being, something familiar to them, it's very, very comforting for them. It's very, very nice for them to try and look through these cards, and when they hear the names, when they hear Archangel Michael, they think to themselves, yes, I remember that from Sunday school, I remember that in my teachings, I know that's a good angel, I know that represents something good. So that is why I really, really like these cards. And they're just, a lot of people call to these cards, and these cards also help a lot of people find their guardian angel and find different beings of light that help them throughout their day and kind of eases them into researching and understanding that road to the divine. So, my last deck that I have here is the one that I got most recently. This one I actually came across on the internet and I fell in love with it. It is an awesome, awesome, awesome deck. It is called the Goddess Guidance Oracle deck, again by Doreen Virtue. It has this awesome gold on the side. It has this bright royal gold crown on the back side of the cards. It has so many different goddesses from so many different faiths and beliefs. Not only goddesses, but different sprites, different spirits. This is the Aphrodite card. Absolutely beautiful. This card even includes the Virgin Mary, Mother Mary. It includes Mary Magdalene. It's just a wonderful deck. I really, really like it. Here is this deck's Isis card. Shows this beautiful rendition of Isis, this wonderful winged woman on the Nile River. The Kuan Yin card. It has a lot of goddesses that can be easily recognized, such as Rhiannon, Bridget, Vesta, Sarasvati from Hindu beliefs, Freya, and then it even has several kind of oddball spirits and sprites that you don't recognize, and it's fun to get to know them and get to learn about them. This one, I have no idea if I'm pronouncing the name correctly. I'm probably not. It's something along the lines of Ane, something to that effect, and there's this sort of fairy doing this leap of faith, and it's just an awesome picture to describe this card. And it's a really, really fun deck. Again, it has very, very positive female energy behind it. I recently did a 13-card reading for myself with this deck, and it just blew me away. It was an awesome, awesome, awesome reading. All of the cards matched up. They went together so well and so perfectly. Every little section just made so much sense. It was 4 sections of 3 cards. Each of the 3 cards put together made sense. And it was just an awesome reading. I would give this deck probably, this would be one of my 15 out of 10 scorings here that I'd give this deck. It's a really, really awesome deck, and I totally, totally recommend it to anybody who is getting into Oracle. Any of Doreen Virtue's decks I would recommend looking up, getting into. I don't know, I apologize, I do not know many other people who do Oracle decks, mostly because I'm so hooked on Doreen Virtue that I haven't even bothered to look into other people, except for that one mistake deck that I had that as a child that time. But these decks by her are just wonderful. They're amazing. Whether you're an adult, whether you're a child, whether you're a beginner, whether you're a well-seasoned veteran, Doreen Virtue's Oracle decks are perfect and they are amazing to use. So I totally, totally recommend these. And so that is pretty much all I have for the evening. I know this is going on for kind of forever, and this is sort of a long, video here. But if you have any questions, feel free to leave comments, anything, any commentary you want to leave, any questions about the decks. All of these decks are really easy to find. You can find them through eBay, you can find them through Amazon, you can find them through all types of different vendors, I should say, such as Azure Green. I have a few kind of oddball decks that I have for sale on the website right now, on Magical Seas website. I didn't bring them with me to do show and tell with. I apologize for that. But I have the Tarot of the Mermaids, which is a low Scarabeo deck, and I have the Tarot of the Moon Garden. Both decks, they're really nice. They're slightly used. Their energies just did not connect with me very well, so I'm selling them used. They're at a very reasonable price for being used decks, only $15 a deck, but you still get the full deck, you get the booklet that comes with it. They're really nice decks, they just didn't seem to connect with me. One of the biggest parts of Tarot and Oracle is finding decks that connect to you, that feel right to you, that make sense to you. That is the biggest part of it, because if you find one that doesn't feel right, that doesn't connect, you are not going to do good readings with it. It does not matter how good of a psychic you are. It does not matter how many readings you've done with other decks, with other people, with other things. If you do not find a deck that fits you, that feels right to you, then your readings are going to be pretty crappy. So try and avoid those. Whichever ones feel right to you, and you can get fooled at times. I've been fooled several times. I got a deck, I believe it was called the Mona Lisa Tarot deck, and it seemed great. It felt so right in the store when I got it. I just loved it. I was looking at the pictures, the cards. It felt so right. It felt so good. I got it home. I used it for a few readings, a few test readings. I tried to connect with it, and it was like there was a brick wall between me and that deck. I did not connect with it at all. I did several test readings on myself. They came out terrible. So I actually kind of had it just sitting off to the side one day, and a friend saw it, and she asked me about it, and she picked it right up and connected with it right away. She did an awesome reading for herself, so I just gave it to her. You know, I spent $25 in the deck and just gave it away like that, you know, within a day. But it wasn't obviously meant for me. Always go for whatever feels best to you. But sometimes that can be not right. Sometimes that deck can be meant for somebody else. It can be meant to do something greater. It can be meant to not be yours. It might come into your life for a reason, but maybe it's not meant to be yours to do readings with and to work with. So that's just something you should keep in mind. One more thing I'm going to mention before I let you go are this month's contests on Magical Seas. We have the free visitors contest. Customers can also enter into this contest. This month's contest is for 2 herbs of your choice. You get one, either half to 1 ounce. You can go through the whole listing of herbs that we have on the website and pick whichever 2 you want. They're going to be sent to you absolutely free. And the other giveaway, which we just started, is the customer giveaway. This one is exclusive for our customers. Some of the prizes on this one are a bit better than the freebies. Purchases are necessary to enter this contest, but there's no minimum purchase. It's not like you have to spend $35 in order to enter. You could buy a 99-cent bag of herbs and you're entered in this contest. It doesn't matter. This month's customer giveaway, we are going to be giving away a small cauldron, such as this one. It is about 3 inches tall. Well, actually, it's about 3 inches wide, I should say. It's probably like 3.5 to 4 inches tall. And this thing is just, it's perfect. It's convenient for portable magic, any portable altar you have, magic on the go. You can burn incense in here. You can leave offerings in here. Use it for scrying. Add water in there to use for scrying. This is just a perfect all-around thing. It's kind of heavy. It's made of cast iron. And all you have to do is just make a purchase on the site, and your name will be entered in automatically. this is from now until May 5th that this contest is going on. The symbol on the cauldron might vary. It probably will vary. We have a bunch of them. It's kind of whichever one I grab first is the one that's going to get sent to you. And basically that's it. So I hope you all found this video very informational. Please don't mind the background noise. The camera picks up just about everything but my voice. But I'd like to wish you all